All right, everyone. So today we are going to get our 2-point perspective paper set up. We're not going to be actually starting the drawing quite yet. We're just going to get the paper set up so that we can begin that process. So these are the materials that you will need for today. You'll need an eraser in case you make any mistakes, a ruler, a pencil, and a pencil sharpener. You can also use a mechanical pencil if you have it. Otherwise, a standard pencil works just fine. And you'll also need one of our 9x12 pieces of paper. We are going to be working horizontal, which means that our paper is going to be wide, not tall, okay? So first thing we're going to look for on our ruler, these rulers start exactly at the edge, okay? Usually some rulers have a 0 marking. These ones do not. They only start at the edge and go straight to 1. What I want you to do is take your ruler, line it up at the top of your paper so that that edge is right at the top, and you should be down at 9 inches. Your paper might be a little off, that's okay. What we're going to do is we are going to make a mark at 4.5 inches. Okay, you'll notice first that our half mark is that guy right there. It's halfway between 3 and 4. Just kidding, 4.5 is halfway between 4 and 5. So we're actually going to be using that guy right there, not the 3.5 mark. This is the one we're going to be using. Okay, so we're going to line up our ruler with our paper. Again, you're right up at the top. So we start up here at the edge. We should go all the way down to 9. We are going to make a mark at 4.5. It's just a tiny little line. You can barely see it. That's called a tick mark. T-I-C-K, and it's just an indicator mark for what we're going to do later. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side of our paper. We're going to line it up at the top, should be down at 9, and we're going to do 4.5. Again, just a small little marking. Your mark does not need to be that big. Actually, the bigger you make it, the more imposing it's going to be on your project. So right now, we have 2 markings, one on either side of our paper at 4.5 inches. Our next step is to take our ruler, line up those 2 tick marks, and we're going to very, very lightly connect them with a straight line. This is what's going to be called our horizon line for our project. This is going to be a very important line, so we're going to keep that there throughout the duration of this project. We're going to take our ruler, we're going to lay it back against that horizon line, and this time we're going to make a tick mark at 6. And we're also going to do the same thing at the top and the bottom of our paper. So a little tick mark up top and a little tick mark down at the bottom. Just like we did with our horizon line, we're going to connect the top and the bottom lines, and hopefully we go through that line on our horizon line as well. So we're going to lightly connect those so we have essentially a big plus mark throughout our paper. Our next task is going to be to decide how much space we want at the top and the bottom of our paper. And by that, I mean how much space is going to be left at the top and the bottom. This is one of mine that I've done. It's a Western movie set. I have just a little bit of space between the bottom and a little bit more space up at the top. However much space you decide to have up at the top, that is your choice. This space down at the bottom is about 1.5 inches, a little shy just of that. So we're gonna do the same on our paper. So taking our ruler, we're going to measure from the bottom up 1.5 inches. So right here is my 1.5 inch marking. So I'm going to do a tiny tick mark at the edge of my ruler where it meets at the 1 inch mark. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing up top. So I'm gonna bring my ruler up, line it up at the top, and I'm going to make a mark at 1.5 inches. Okay. So right now, I have 1 tick mark right here, one tick mark right here, and I have two on either edge of my paper, and I have my one in the center. What I'm going to do next is I am going to mark from here to this tick mark on my vertical line. And I am going to line up my ruler with those two markings, and I am going to connect them. I'm going to do the same thing with the upper tick mark. You want to try and draw as lightly as you can. That way, in case you need to erase, your line should erase completely. If you press really hard with your pencil, you'll leave behind a trace of the lead. You want to try to not do that, because if you do have to make some adjustments, you don't want to see those little markings left behind. Sometimes this does take some practice, but practice is just an ongoing thing. So right now, I should have a diamond created across my paper. That's going to be the ending step for today. Tomorrow we'll come back for round 2.